Oh dear, from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, just a minute. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome to today's lecture of the course Fundamentals of Buddhism, being freely offered by Dhamma USA, a spiritual care and religious organization based in USA in California, under the guidance of Venerable Bhante Sumit. Today is a very auspicious and significant day for Buddhists all around the world. It is Asal Puja Day, or Asal Punnami Day, the day the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta was delivered by the Supreme Buddha. After his enlightenment, Gautam the Buddha delivered his first sermon to a group of 5 ascetics, his old colleagues, in the deer park at Isipatan, modern Sarnath, near Banaras. From that day, for 45 years, he taught all classes of men and women, kings and peasants, Brahmins and outcasts, bankers and beggars, holy men and robbers, without making the slightest distinction between them. He recognized no differences of caste or social groupings, and the way he preached was open to all men and women who were ready to understand and to follow it. Today, Buddhism is found in Ceylon, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Tibet, China, Japan, Mongolia, Korea, Formosa, in some parts of India, Pakistan and Nepal, and also in the Soviet Union. The Buddhist population of the world is over 500 million. Let us now begin discussion of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, setting in motion the wheel of truth. May I invite Venerable Bhante Sumit to begin. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Saddhammang munirajas sunantu sagga mokkhadan Dhamma savana kalo ayang bhadanta Dhamma savana kalo ayang bhadanta Dhamma savana kalo ayang bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Evaṁ me sutaṁ ekaṁ samayang bhagavā Varanasiyang isipatane migadaye Anuttarang dhamma chakkang pavattitang apativattiyang Samanena va brahmanena va devena va marena va brahmana va kena chiva lokasminti. Good morning, everyone, and dear Bhikkhuni Sangha, and also our Fundamentals of Buddhism students. Today is a very special day. It is called Asarha Purnima. In Sinhala we call it Asala Full Moon Day. And as usual, every full moon day, we offer an Ovada Desana to all the Bhikkhuni Sangha. And today, as a part of our Dhamma discussion, we give priority to a very special sutta called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is so important to all of us because it is the first ever sutta that was preached by the Buddha. And here in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, we also have a number of important incidents today that took place actually. It is the day that after Chatu Asankheya Kappalaka. So I don't know if we can give the exact translation to that. 4.5 eons, and then 100,000 time the Bodhisattva has been fulfilling Dasa Paramita, Dasa Upaparamita, and Dasa Paramatta Paramita. And then eventually he became Buddha. He achieved his spiritual goal, and then he preached his first Dhamma Desana. 2 months later, he has not been giving any Dhamma talks for 2 months. He was contemplating, he was thinking how to do it, what to do it, and he was kind of organizing and thinking, contemplating as to how he should start. There were initial hesitations also, but eventually the Sahampati Brahma invited him to give a Dhamma talk. So it's really an important day. And it is said after the Buddha gave this Dhamma talk, all the Mahasangha members, there were only 5 monks. And out of the 5 monks, 1 monk was able to see the Dhamma, open the Dhamma Chakku, the eye of Dhamma. So that is the first day ever after the enlightenment, another person was able to see the Dhamma. So that day was a very, very historic day. Really, really important day to all of us. And on this particular day, it is said, when the Buddha made an utterance, Anyasi Vatabho Kondanyo, Anyasi Vatabho Kondanyo. Kondanya became Anya Kondanya after that. He was given a very special title, Anya Kondanya after that. And he was the fortunate one to know the Dhamma, to see the Dhamma among all the millions and millions of great disciples later on to follow. And so it's really important, this day of Dhamma Chakku, this day of the Dhamma eye, it's important. And then it is also said, the Buddha gave this very special title to Kondanya, Anyasi Vatabho Kondanyo. And then there were millions and millions of Devas and Brahmas who were attending this Dhamma talk. They have also been waiting for eons to listen to the Dhamma talk. And so it's a long time they have been waiting, in fact, to listen to a Dhamma talk by the Buddha. And the first ever Dhamma talk by a Buddha is always very unique. And when he gave this Dhamma talk, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the wheel turning low, and the Chatu Maharajika Devas, the Deva realm next to the human realm, they started saying sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Really, really important for all of us. That was the first day ever in this Buddha Sasana that we heard the sadhu, the echo of the sadhu, the reverberation of the sadhu. And that was overheard by the next Deva world. All the 6 realms of Deva world, they heard one by one and upward, and all those Devas also giving sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And then after that, Nimanarati, Paranimita Vasavati Deva, and after that the Brahma Devas, they started giving that sadhu. And it went all the way up to Akanita Brahma realm. That was the last Brahma realm. So all the Brahmas and all the Devas were giving sadhu, 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 which was really an important occasion. And ever since, every time we feel happy, we say sadhu, sadhu. Every time we listen to a Dhamma talk, we say sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu means excellent. Sadhu means great. Sadhu means noble. Okay, so that is again an important day. So Asal Purnima day also is important for all the monks who observe rains retreat. They observe rains retreat on this particular day. And all the monks, they find this day an important day again. And the Buddhas, the disciples actually, after the first missionary group of 60 monks, the Buddha advised them to go forward. He said, go forward and teach the Dhamma for the benefit of the many. And then many monks were walking, and they were walking without stopping. They were traveling everywhere for the well-being and happiness of the many. They were teaching the Dhamma, preaching the Dhamma everywhere. And then during the rains retreat in India those days, when it rains, in India, it rains like a lot. It's not like in California or something. We rarely get that much rain. But the downpours in India is really heavy. And when it rains, all those greeneries also start to coming up. And those green meadows are considered also ekindriya pranis, like one organ life, according to the giants. So they were watching the monks walking on the meadows, green meadows, and they didn't like it. They started accusing the monks. How come these monks walking on the green meadows? And it's an ekindriya prani. It's a life that they are actually stepping on. So the complaint came to the Buddha. Buddha actually accepted it. He respected that tradition. And he said, okay, this is a great opportunity for all the monks to contemplate, all the monks and the nuns to contemplate on their own practice. And so he said, you should, from today onward, start observing the Vasa rains retreat. Don't go out during that time, and you focus on yourself, and you practice and meditate and try to achieve your own spiritual goal. And during this time, in the recorded history of Buddhism, we have seen more Arahanta monks, more liberated ones coming up more than any other time of the year. So this is a very, very auspicious time, very, very spiritually rich time. And this time also is a time for all the lay devotees to take care of the monks. And the monks and the nuns, if you see, if you have any monks and nuns anywhere that you can see, we highly recommend you go to those temples and help them, take care of them, and also that way you will also gain a lot of merits. So let's go to the sutta, the first sutta. This is Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 56:11, and setting the wheel of Dhamma in motion, using Bhikkhu Tanisaro's translation, and there are some more translations available. Bhikkhu Ñāṇamoli's and Have and Bhante Pidasi's translation, and in the Sutta Central you also can have other translations available. So I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying at Varanasi in the game refuge at Isipatana. I don't really like that translation for here. It is the deer park at Isipatana. And there he addressed the group of 5 monks. He said, there are these 2 extremes that are not to be indulged in by one who has gone forth. Which 2? That which is devoted to sensual pleasure with reference to sensual objects, base, vulgar, common, ignoble, unprofitable, and that which is devoted to self-affliction. So this self-affliction is painful, ignoble, and unprofitable. And you see, the sensual object, the Kama Sukha Likkhanu Yoga, is explained as base, vulgar, common, ignoble, unprofitable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 adjectives used for this Kama Sukha Likkhanu Yoga. And Atthakila Yoga is explained as painful, ignoble, and unprofitable. So still 3. So Kama Sukha Likkhanu Yoga in that case more harmful maybe than Atthakila Yoga for a spiritual practitioner. And the Buddha said, avoiding both these extremes, the middle way realized by the Tathagata, producing vision, producing knowledge, leads to calm, to direct knowledge, to self-awakening, and to unbinding. So these are the benefits that one can gain by practicing the middle path. And then the sutta gives the precise practice that we should follow. That is the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the Noble Eightfold Path. And I have another Dhamma talk. If you want to follow up later on, maybe I will share the link. And that is Satya Vibhanga Sutta. Satya Vibhanga Sutta is kind of an atakatao, kind of further elaboration of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Satya Vibhanga Sutta was preached by Venerable Sariputta. Venerable Sariputta is again very important disciple, chief high command in the Buddha Sasana, foremost among the bhikkhus. So his teaching, he was capable of elaborating things very, very well. So Venerable Sariputta's teaching of Satya Vibhanga Sutta can be very helpful to all of us to understand a little bit more about this precise version of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. In Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, actually, the Buddha gives explains the essence, the very essence of the entire Buddha Dhamma. That is the Four Noble Truths. Everything is included and can be included into these Four Noble Truths. So here, the Noble Eightfold Path is very important. What is right view? what is right resolve, or Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. These are all very important practices. And these 8 Noble Eightfold Path can also be divided again into Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So the first 2 is actually Panya, right view and right resource, Samadhi, Samma Sankappa. And right speech, right action, and right livelihood can become under, can come under some, yeah, that is Sila. And then right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, they come under Samadhi. And the normal higher, I mean the regular order is Sila, Samadhi, Panya, but in the Noble Eightfold Path, it is really interesting why it is given Samadhi, Samma Sankappa first. Because Samma Sankappa or Samma Ditti, or the right view, is the very key. Without right view, everything can go wrong. If you don't have the right view, your entire journey can go wrong. It is the navigation. It is the right destination that you find when you have the right view. So Michaditti, or the wrong view, can lead you to completely a different destination. So right view is important. Plus, all these Noble Eightfold Paths, these different different dittis or different views are interconnected. Not necessarily you follow one at a time. They can be mutually helpful. They can be interconnected all the time. So please remember that when you think of this Noble Eightfold Path, they are interconnected. Right view. What is right view? Right view is the, what do you call, uh, the knowledge, the realization of the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, and the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. That view, that right view, should be very clear with someone when he or she is walking on this Buddhist path. Really important. And that is the path to liberation. Right resolve, Samma Sankappa. Again, Nekkhamma Sankappa, Vyapada Sankappa, and Avihimsa Sankappa. That is how it is explained in Satya Vibhanga Sutta. So, to let it go, to renounce things, we should be able to renounce, we should be able to let it go. It's also very important. Sometimes we are holding on to things so dearly that we can get rid of them. It's really difficult for us to get rid of them. There are some people who love their homes, who love their pets, who love their like simple properties, you know. Like you are so much holding on to them, we can't let them go. It's difficult. So letting go, or the concept of nekkhamma, renunciation, is really important. That is why in Buddhism we practice noble, what do you call, the 8 precepts on every full moon day. It's a kind of letting go, or it's a kind of renunciation. You practice those things. And among our Buddhist monks and nuns, we also have this kind of practice. Like every half noon, the Sangha assembly, they practice these things. They try to review their own practice. Really important that we do that. So Samma Sankappa, and then Nekkhamma Sankappa. Avyapada Sankappa is you don't want to hurt others. You don't want to kill others. You want to practice non-violence. You want to practice loving kindness. And Avihimsa Sankappa is like both physically and mentally. This means both physically and mentally you want to practice non-violence, loving kindness. So that's right resolve or some Sankappa. Right speech is we have 4 kinds of wrong speeches that we need to avoid, we need to skip. Musavada, Pisunavacha, Parusavacha, and Sampapalapa. Musavada is the forced speech, and Pisunavacha is the slandering, and Parusavacha is the harsh speech, and then Sampapalapa is the gossip, or like meaningless speeches. So we have to get rid of them too. When you get rid of them, right speech will be developed in you. And right action is again in the 5 precepts that you observe every day. The lay people observe 5 precepts every day. The first 3 precepts are called right action. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. When you say, I undertake to observe the precept to abstain from killing living beings. Adinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake to observe the precept to abstain from stealing, taking things not given. And we Buddhist monks and nuns, we have a great commitment to this. That is why at the temple, when somebody is offering something, you will also notice, the lay people can notice that the Buddhist monks and nuns, they accept only when they are offered. I like this in Empty Cloud Monastery. They have a card. On the one side, it is said not yet offered. And on the other side, it is said offered. So if something is there for the monks and nuns to be offered, someone, lay person has to offer. And only then the monks accept it, and nuns accept it, and then they can consume. And there are things at the temple, like some fruits, some other things are there, but if they are not offered, they don't touch it. So they are very serious in observing that sila, adinnadana, taking things not given. Really important. You don't touch when it doesn't belong to you. You don't touch if it is not given to you. And that way, the right action is very seriously practiced. And it's a really very important uh, parajika, like if you break that sila, so sila too. So the monks and nuns are very concerned about that action, adinnadana. And then the kamesu michachara veramani is to refrain from sexual misconduct. And I think I have already mentioned before, like you respect others' life, you respect others' property, and then you respect others' family life. This is called right action. And that is Samma Kammanta. And Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. You need to find livelihood that is conducive to your spiritual practice. Let's say you are engaged in an industry or in a job which is more inclined to do some damage to the nature, or let's say like chemical fertilizer, which is harmful to the fellow human beings and also to our nature. And let's say like you are dealing with animal husbandry, which is not respecting others' life. You are actually dealing with killing of slaughtering of innocent animals. So you have to think of it when you practice Buddhism. You have to think of it whether you are actually practicing that noble path, that loving kindness. So loving kindness is not only respecting human lives but also the animals and other sentient beings. So it's really important that we practice loving kindness to the best of our ability. And right effort is samma vayama. Samma vayama again is fourfold. There are some good habits that we have, good wholesome thoughts that we have, wholesome habits that we have, and then we have some unwholesome habits, and then we don't have some unwholesome habit, and we don't have some wholesome habits. These four things are connected here. If you don't have any, if you have some unwholesome habits in you, you have to make some effort to get rid of those unwholesome habits. If you don't have some unwholesome habits, you have to make an effort not to allow those habits to be a part of your system. And then if you don't have some wholesome habits, you have to make sure that you inculcate those habits. And if you have some wholesome habits, you have to make sure, you have to make some effort to improve, to develop, to promote more of those wholesome habits. While we are dealing with, we associating with some other monks and nuns and other wonderful people around us, you might observe, you might notice, oh, this person is very patient. That I don't have that quality in me. I should be more patient. I should take that example. Or this person is very wise. Or this person is asking questions. Or this person is very generous. Or that person is not dealing with gossip. He is very trustworthy, sincere. You see some of those wonderful qualities in some people around you, and then maybe you think it is not very much in your system. You should try to follow them. And then you also might see some other bad habits in other people, and that you don't have it. You should not try to experiment these things. I see some of the young people today, they want to experiment these things, like the young children. They want to experiment maybe drinks and drugs. That can be deadly dangerous if you do such things. So when you don't have it, don't have those unwholesome things, habits, don't try to get closer to them. And make sure you don't allow lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, or ill will and ignorance to arouse through those actions. So that is right effort. Right mindfulness again is, mindfulness is a really popular practice today. Everyone talks about mindfulness, and it can be kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana, chitta anupassana, dhamma anupassana. Can be related to the contemplation of the body, the feeling, and then the mind, and also the um, those four foundations of mindfulness. And plus we can also have kaya gata sati, contemplation on our own body, like gate tite nisinne sutte jagarite sampajanakari hoti. Whenever, whatever you do, you be mindful, you be alert, you be aware of what you do, and also try to stay right here, right now. And it's a constant struggle that we have when we meditate. Like either we shift to we try to fall back to the past experiences. When we close our eyes, try to meditate, oh, the moment you close your eyes, you think of some past experience, whether it is unpleasant or pleasant. You might think of that. That is not meditation. And then sometimes you might also think, oh, this is going to happen tomorrow. I'm pretty excited that I'm going on a trip or picnic or whatever, and then we have a party coming up. So while closing your eyes, you are pretending to be meditating, but you're not doing it. And let's say at the monastery, we also have this and that. Tomorrow is our Vasana day. While practicing the meditation, somebody might be thinking of that project coming up tomorrow. So that is the problem that we have. We have to focus on what we are doing right here, right now. So the challenge in mindfulness or meditation is that we try to focus on right here, right now. That is right mindfulness. Remember, there are other people like maybe the snipers, those people who are working in the army. They also have very strong mindfulness, but that is not right mindfulness. Sniper gunman would be focusing or so much focus on one thing and one target, and for hours, maybe even days, he or she might be focusing on that, and that is not right mindfulness again. Okay. And then right concentration, that is the four jhanas, Patama jhana, Dutiya jhana, and Tatya jhana and Chatutta jhana. And then for the samapatis, Akasanan chayatana, Vinyanan chayatana, Neva sanyana, sanyayatana, and Akinchanyayatana and Neva sanyana, sanyayatana. These come under right concentration. So the Buddha said this is the middle way, and that will help us in achieving our spiritual goal. Remember, the most important thing for us is attaining Sotapanna. Sotapanna will be the most important spiritual achievement that one can have. That will be the first stage of sainthood. So I think we should focus much more on this factor called Sotapanna. I'm going to discuss more about the Sotapanna and Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanthood in upcoming series of Dhamma talks. You may have a look at that later on. So I'm going to talk about those 10 fetters: Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Sīlabhata, Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga, and Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddhacha, Avijja. These are the 10 fetters, or what we call Dasa Sangyojana. I'm going to discuss more about this because I really want to give more attention to that. Sakkaya Ditthi, the first crack, maybe we can open our Dhamma Chakku if we know a little bit much more in detail about the Sakkaya Ditthi. And Sakkaya Ditthi is thinking that this body is mine, this five Panchakanda is mine, this is me, my ego, look at that. And we try to always do something about that. That is a big problem. That is why we fight with each other. That is why we hate other people. That is why we conflict with other people. That is why we want to possess things. And that is why we do so many nasty things, because we have that wrong view, Sakkaya Ditthi, self-identity or self-identification. So this is a very serious thing that we need to pay attention to that. And then Vicikiccha is the doubt that we have about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the past birth, future birth, and both of them, and also about the Paticca Samuppada, and all these like eightfold doubts we have. And then Silabhata Parama's rites and rituals that we think is really important. Some people have very weird rites and rituals. Like when they wake up, they do certain rituals, rites, and they do many things that can never lead to any emancipation or liberation. So some of those rites and rituals, again, we have to think, we have to know if it is leading us to the Nibbana. We'll talk about that also later on. Okay, now the Buddha talks here about the Four Noble Truths. And Four Noble Truths, I think I talked about already the fourth truth, and let's talk a little bit about the first three noble truths as well. So the noble truth of suffering, dukkha satya, the birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair. They are all stressful. They are all suffering. An association with with the unbeloved, or like unpleasant people is suffering. And separation, dissociation from your loved and near and dear ones is stressful. Especially these days, we know how it is, how important it is, how painful it is when you see someone close to your life is going away. And due to the pandemic, a lot of people, a lot of loved ones were missing, and many people lost their loved ones. So it was very, very distressful for many. And not getting what one wants is also stressful. And sometimes you think, I want this thing, I want that thing. And when you don't get it, then you feel very, very stressful. So it's really important that you pay attention to all of them as well. And then the noble truth of the origin of suffering, that is the craving, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, craving that makes for further becoming, and accompanied by passion and delight, relishing now and here, now here and now there, craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming, and craving for non-becoming. So all these things are like parts of our origin of suffering. The more we are attached to something, the more stressful it becomes, the more suffering it becomes. Let's say, like, you are more attached to some of your children or some of your property. When you lose them, you really feel very, very stressful and very distressing, and you feel suffering. And that's why, like, a lot of people die in the world, we don't have that much care about that, and we feel sorry for them. Yes, but actually, in a matter of like minutes, we don't care about that anymore. But if something happens to any of your near and dear one, it's really, really difficult for you. So because of our attachment, because of our passion, or the tanha that we have towards them. So craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming, and craving for non-becoming, they are all part of the tanha. That is part of the second truth. And the third one is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, and that is the remainderless fading and cessation, renunciation, relinquishment, release, and letting go of the very craving. So if craving is the very root cause of suffering, and getting rid of that craving is the way to come out of the suffering. And then Buddha also gave a wonderful path to, as the path lead into the cessation of suffering, and that is the Noble Eightfold Path, as we discussed before. So this is the Noble Eightfold Path, that is the very essential teaching of the Buddha, and he explained this thing in this sutta, and Venerable Kondanya became Sotapanna with this. That is what the Blessed One said, gratified the group of 5 monks, delighted at his words. And while this explanation was being given, there arose to Venerable Kondanya the dustless, stainless Dhamma eye. Whatever is subject to origination is so subject to cessation. And so his Dhamma I, Chakkung Udapadi, Jnanang Udapadi, Vijja Udapadi, Aloko Udapadi, it is said, like Venerable Kondanya became very clear about his view, and his view was very clear, and then it was very easier for him to attain the Nibbana later on. So with that, I would like to conclude the Dhamma talk today on the Dhammacakkappavattana, and yeah, let's open the discussion. And by the power of this, may you all be well, happy, and healthy. May all sentient beings be well, happy, and healthy.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu. I'd just like to do the closing a bit of water, and then we can have the question. Ukasa vandama bante, dwaratena ambhihi katang achyang kamatanu bante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Ambhehi katang punyang samina anumoditabang.
Sadhu, sadhu, anumodami.
Samina katang punyang amha kang databang.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, anumodama. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, thank you, Bhikkhunis. We'll,
Thank you so much.
yeah, and I wish you all a very happy rains retreat. Okay. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. Okay.
Thank you, Bante, and you too. Hope
Okay.
you have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So here we are. Any question? Over to you, Poonam and Sangamita.
जी मेरा एक
साधु
क्वेश्चन था
बात है।
जैसे भंते जी पातिमोक्खा में एक बार ही खाना रहता है भंते जी के लिए, तो उपासक भी कर सकते हैं क्या? वैसे उपासक के
पातिमोक्खा?
लिए भी नियम रहते क्या?
पातिमोक्खा वो जो है भिक्खु भिक्खुनी के लिए है।
हाँ हाँ,
उपासक
उपासक और
उपासिकाओं के लिए
उपासिका के
है
लिए भी-
पंचशील और अष्टशील और दशशील। ठीक है,
थैंक यू। वर्षावास आप उपासक कर सकते हैं क्या?
वेल वर्षावास वर्षावास भी वो भिक्खु भिक्खुनियों के लिए ही है, लेकिन आप अगर आप चाहे तो आप भी कर सकते हो। लेकिन आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कि आप तैयार है उसके लिए, और सब आपका काम छोड़ना पड़ेगा फिर। लेकिन फिर भी आप कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं।
हाँ,
आप
उसके वजह
वो अष्टशील ले सकते हैं और प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं अपना अपना तरीका से। Yeah, trying to do the best of your ability. I think it will make sense. Let's say you can do just like a monk or a nun does, but you also can try your best to practice. Really important.
थैंक यू सर।
Okay.
Bhante, I want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Shall I?
Yes.
Bhante, yes, in Maharashtra, many people, they are thinking that this Varshavas, the lay person, this lay follower, they are thinking that they should follow the precepts, this 8 precepts, and they should eat only one time during this 3 months. And this, every people are doing like this, but I think they should do the Uposat Vrat for 4 days. It means Purnima, Amavasya, and the 2 Ashtamis. But this, I think, this is new. The people are doing that 3 months they are doing the Uposatha. Is it good to follow?
So you mean to say like during the Vasavasa, they observe 5
Yeah.
precepts or 8 precepts only one time?
Yes, 8 precept, and they are eating only one time before 12 o'clock, just like Bhikkhu and Bhikkhunis are doing. But they are doing for 3 months. This is what they are thinking.
Okay, so are they following? Are they following?
Yeah, following, but yes. But they are not knowing about the Vinaya. Means,
there is something called Ajiva Attamaka Sila, like you can practice 8
yes.
precepts lifelong. So if you observe that, you can practice that. Otherwise, if you practice 5 precepts, if you observe 5 precepts, okay. So let's say from morning till evening, you need to practice. You need to observe them. You don't break the sila. And let's say you determine, I'm not going to break the sila for 5 days. If you determine that way, you can do that too. Okay, it's up to you. And let's say, oh, I broke some sila. So you observe again. That's fine. You know, if you make it, if something happened, you had to break a sila. It's human. You know, it can happen. Then you observe again and try to be more determined this time, not to break sila. So it's important to. So the more you practice sila, the more helpful it becomes, and also it's really, really helpful. I must say that in our temple these days here, there are people who have come for the first time ever, and they are practicing 8 precepts. They are practicing along with the monks and nuns here. Really, really beautiful thing that we see every day. They observe 8 precepts, and they meditate nearly 4 hours every single day, and they listen to Dhamma talks. They observe noble silence. Really very, very powerful practices that they have for the rest of their life. So once in a while, you observe 5 precepts daily, and once a month or something, you observe 8 precepts or 10 precepts. And once in a while, you should go take a break, you know, observe, go for a 10 days retreat, maybe Goenka retreat or something. You have those facilities in India too. You have actually in Pune, right? इगतपुरी में है ना, तो बहुत बड़ा गोयंका जी का वो वहां पे जाना चाहिए. मैं भी गया था वहां पे जयपुर में. उस समय मैं दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाई कर रहा था. तब मैं गया था 10 दिन का रिट्रीट के लिए जयपुर में. बहुत बढ़िया था. तो जा सकते हैं, कभी कभी जाना चाहिए. लेकिन
मेरे गोयंका गुरुजी की 3 शिविर हुए हैं सर.
अच्छा.
हाँ,
तो आप रोज आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, तो हमारा टाइम भी खत्म होने वाला है. और एक प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं आखिर अगर है तो. नहीं तो हम
बंते जी, मैं एक्चुअली बहुत नई हूँ आपकी टीम में, और मैं ऑनेस्टली बताऊं तो मैं तो बहुत पूरी तरह से बुद्धिज्म को अभी फॉलो भी नहीं करती हूँ, और आई मीन नॉनवेज भी खाती हूँ. और तो आई डोंट नो मैं यहाँ पे सही हूँ या नहीं, बट मुझे बुद्ध के मेडिटेशन से और उससे बहुत टाइम से ही मुझे वो है कनेक्शन सा फील होता है.
आप अंचल एकदम सही जगह पे है. और आपका जो मन है फॉलो करने का बुद्धिज्म को, तो आप सोचना चाहिए ये पंचशील है. पंचशील ग्रहण करके आप एक सील के तरफ देख के So you try your best. I must say there are some people who are strong in some. Let's say like some people, like most of the women, I think they don't drink, right? But many people, many men, they drink
Yeah.
alcohol. So maybe this can be your strong point. I'm good in it. I don't break that sealer. And they may be the first sealer, the 5%. Like if you say the first one, you don't break that either. And you can say, I don't steal, I don't break that sealer too. So in that way, you see which is your weak point, which is your strong point. And if you have some strong point, you focus more on that and try to cultivate more. And then if you have some weak points, you work on them. Let's say like you said, you are eating non-veg. So you try to maybe restrict that non-veg. Maybe if you eat every single day, maybe I will take one day off. I don't take non-veg on this day, like Friday, I don't take non-veg. So keep working on this, and it's something better than nothing. That's how we
Yeah.
do it. You can change the system overnight. Don't
Yeah.
try to do that also. I don't recommend that. So
Oh,
keep working on that slowly. And if there are some sealers for you, let's say like some people, they drink every single day. So I don't say just do it, just cut off from that drinking habit right away. You can't do that. I say like, okay, just try to stop slowly, and reduce that drinking habit. And slowly, you will be able to completely get rid of it. So it's fine. And whenever you observe the 5%, please think of it very seriously. Think of the meaning of these 5%. I think the very meaning, intention of our course is to help you out. This is the fundamentals of Buddhism. And if we can give that message to you, okay, all these 10, 11 people of here, whatever, we also have a lot of other people, of course, in this course. If you can give more attention to the 5 precepts alone, I think that is a great achievement through this course. And we are very happy to help you out. And don't think like I'm kind of Naya here. It's perfectly all right. And it's also good to see these wonderful people here. They are very helpful too. They are very wonderful. And so we share the Dhamma. We learn from each other too. Okay. And also don't feel shy, or if you have any question, please feel free to ask in Hindi or in English or in Marathi. We are happy to help you out.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, we would like to conclude for today. And thank you very much for joining us on this very special Asarha Purnima Day, Dhammacakkappavattana Day. And I wish you all be able to open your Dhammacakko, eye of Dhamma, by the end of this course. Really appreciate Poonam Sood and Sangamita Chavan and Arpana Randhir and everyone in the team, and all those people who are attending regularly. And thank you for joining us. May you all be well, happy, healthy, safe. May all your family members, friends and relatives, teachers and elders be blessed by the Noble Triple Gem. May all your departed ones share this merit, receive this merit, be well, happy, healthy, safe, wherever they are. May all of us, may all of them, may all Devas, Brahmas, and all sentient beings be able to share this merit, receive this merit, and may all of us and all of them be able to attain the absolute peace and happiness, the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, let us keep our palms together close to our heart and say 3 times, Sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu.
Dear meritorious Upasakas and Upasikas, thank you for joining us. We shall see you again next week on Monday for the next lecture of Fundamentals of Buddhism. भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोति भवतु. Dhammarati to all of you. We are closing the meeting now.
Thank you.